Hey, you guys, it's Frank the Tank, and welcome to week number 3 of this Winter League. Um, not very happy with my result in this week 3 of League. It sucked because I walked into this one with feeling pretty confident because as you guys saw, I had a pretty fantastic practice session in the days leading up to this. I'm sure you guys saw. I learned that playing straighter is clearly the way to go. But also, I found that the nuclear cell, if any of you saw that community post, I got like a 276 or something like that. I had like the front eight, and all of that was done with the nuclear cell. So that was really nice to see that the nuclear cell still works nicely on this changed house shot that they have. If I missed too far to the right, it recovered. If I missed left, it did have some hold. But yeah, no, it handled the lanes pretty well. And I will say that part of what contributed to that is I had the surface on it changed. I had it. What really happened was I had it tossed in the oven at the pro shop to get all the oil out because I had a ton of games on it already. And my PSO, he actually when he gave it back to me, I expected that he was going to put it back to 1500 grit polish like it said on the box, but instead he told me that he changed it to just 4000. And I asked him like 4000 what? 4000 grit polish or what? No, he said it's just called 4000. It's what they're putting on all bowling balls nowadays, especially Storm with the 4K fast. So yeah, I tried that out, and it really works nicely on that nuclear cell, and clearly that community post shows it. So it's nice to see that I have an option for if I need to open up my angles, move left, and I can't play straight anymore. I have that nuclear cell that I could turn to, thank God, because it's obviously my #1 favorite ball. So yeah, I have that. I learned that obviously playing straighter is probably the better way to go. And also, I'm sure you guys saw that video that I uploaded earlier in the week. I used urethane. I actually practiced with urethane because I haven't actually had a solid practice with it since I'd gotten the fast pitch and the pitch black. And finally I got to it, and also to see how it would handle on this house shot. And clearly, as you guys saw, I almost shot 800, so it worked out really nicely. But even though I did what I did with in that urethane practice session, I chose not to bring urethane to this week of League, and I know a lot of you are going to be dumping on me for that. I really don't have a solid reason for it other than, I felt like it's just not necessary. And also, I really wanted to test out how I handled playing straighter in League, because obviously the feeling of being in League is a lot more different than the feeling of being in practice. So I really wanted to try it out, see how I could handle that mentally. And yeah, in the end, I ended up getting a result that I really did not like. So yeah, that's really all I can say. So I guess now we'll go ahead and get right into this. So let's roll the clip. Okay, you guys, so here we go. Let's begin this week number 3. So, in the 10 minutes of practice, I tried every bowling ball, and the one that I actually had the best look with was the nuclear cell, but I chose not to start with that because obviously I wanted to try to play the lane straighter, wanted to see how I would handle that. So I picked up the Zen Master to start things off, especially because I had the hustle wrap, and I was not getting a good look with it in the 10 minutes, so I thought, the Zen Master clearly is the choice. So that's what I did. And unfortunately, I got that one left of target, according to what I wrote down here. Because like I said, if any of you are just tuning in and didn't see last week's video, I'm now starting to write everything down in my notes so that I could tell you in exactly what I thought in that very moment. So yeah, I started off with the Zen Master on the left lane, board 19, left of target. So all I could do was just pick up that spare, and I'm not gonna lie, as you saw there, I thought it was either gonna go in the gutter or I was gonna get it perfectly in between that small space right there, and that I was gonna miss it, but luckily I got it. So yeah, that one right there left of target, and now we move on to the right lane. My apologies, I meant the left lane. So here we go on the left now. Same board as I was on the right. Better shot. There we go, that's what I was looking for. Even though that 10 just got out, I thought to myself, I'm not gonna change it up, I'm gonna stick with that strategy because I know it's the right one. Okay, now take a look at this shot. From what you guys are seeing, it looks pretty good, right? But the thing is, from my eyes, right there, with the lane in front of me, it actually was a little bit left, and that is why that ended up happening. You see, this is why I'm glad that I'm starting to write everything down, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to tell you right now why that happened. You see, I could only tell you based on what I'm looking at, and I'm watching from the same point of view as you guys. But luckily, now with me actually documenting everything, I can tell you in great detail what is going on out there. So the big story here, I guess, that I could say to sum this whole thing up is that a lot of us were getting unlucky. Like even when we hit the pocket, there would be lots of 10 pins, 9 pins, 7 pins, just unlucky. That one right there, let me see, that was frame 4, I believe, yeah. According to what I wrote down here, it was left of target. And at this point, I was thinking already that maybe I'm not ready to be playing straight, at least on this left lane. So I thought maybe on this left lane I should consider maybe opening up the angle, picking up the nuclear cell. Because really the only reason I packed the nuclear cell, it was my cushion to fall back on in case I was, in case I was really messing up and, I just couldn't get it together. That's why I would have that nuclear cell to fall back on. Caught lucky there. Look at that. I honestly thought that was either going to gutter or I wasn't going to cover them all, but I got lucky there, and I thought I was going to fall down when that happened. Alright, so here we go in the next frame now, and I thought to myself on this one that this was going to be like a test shot. And after that strike, I thought to myself, okay, the Zen Master's still good on the right lane, but I think I'm going to switch, when I get on this left lane, I think I'm going to switch to the nuclear cell because I clearly just can't, get it together on this left lane. And I hate that that happens to me. Like, I'm solid on one lane, but on the next one, I'm like totally like just, I don't know why I can't keep it together. So while I was on the bench, I was thinking to myself, okay, well, those times that I was on the left lane and I messed up, it's because I messed up. I got it left of target, so I thought I need to get it together. So I got it more right, and that happened. And then I'm thinking, okay, what are the chances that that'll happen to me again, even if I do get it to the pocket? So that's when I officially thought to myself, okay, I don't want that to happen. Because I don't know why, this could be very wrong, but I was thinking to myself maybe my carry sucked on this left lane with the Zen Master, so that's why I thought maybe I just need something that hit with more power, and I felt the nuclear cell would need to come in at this point. Been practicing my spares a lot, that's for sure. After what happened that last week where I was missing 10 pins, that was unacceptable. That was inexcusable. Okay, I believe this is frame number 7 now. Fell off on it. See what I mean? That was basically that shot right there, and that result. That's how I could best sum up this night. I was messing up my own shots, and even if they were good shots, 10 pins would come up, 9 pins. Well, for me personally, I didn't get any 9 pins as far as I can remember, but there was a guy on the opposing team who was hitting the pocket pretty good, and he was leaving 9 pins, 10 pins, and 7s. For me personally, it was just either 10s or 7s. Luckily, after making some adjustments to my spare shooting, particularly of the 10 pin, I was now able to start picking up my 10s again. Okay, so right about here on frame 9 is where I finally decided I would make that switch. And we did it. Right there. Nuclear cell on the left lane. And look at this. That looked like a pretty good one. A little right of target. And we get a 710. See what I mean? Even if we hit the pocket, yeah, even if it was a good hit or one of those kinds of hits, because I'm pretty sure that one, the ball deflected after it hit the pocket. But even like that, these kinds of things would end up happening. Either a 7, a 10, a 7-10, or a 9, which I didn't get any 9s luckily, but still, it was really irritating. No bounce out. You always hope that when you leave a 7-10 or something that requires you to bounce a pin out, you always hope that a pin is going to bounce out. Alright, so here we go on the 9th frame, and I made the decision to go with the nuclear cell completely because you guys saw what happened on this right lane. I hit the pocket pretty good, and I left a 10 pin, and I thought to myself, I don't want to see that anymore. So I went with the nuclear cell, and unfortunately there, I felt personally like the way I let it go, it felt like I just let it go a little too lightly. So my speed got slow, and I gave the ball too much time, and as you can see there, that's obvious evidence of it. I mean, it went right through the nose. So now we have back-to-back splits, and that definitely ruined the score. And it's as if things couldn't possibly get any worse. Check this out. I overcut it, and actually take a look at this. Watch carefully. Look at that. If you could see that right there, it passed in front of the 4. So that shows you how much I overcut it. Went into the gutter, took out the 7, but the 4 stayed. That hurts. And because of that, now we have back-to-back splits, back-to-back opens. That definitely ruined the score. Alright, so going into the 10th frame, I took a look at the scores, and I noticed that we were only just ahead of this opposing team by a handful of pins. So I realized that whatever I did here was crucial. I needed to strike out at, obviously that's the best option. So I stepped up, took my first one, and it turned out pretty good. And I thought to myself that was just a pinch left because I was worried that was going to go high. But luckily it held and it made it to the pocket. But yeah, I thought to myself, I really need to strike out here. I need to put up 30 because it would establish a lead big enough for them to have to do some work in the 10th frame. So that right there on the right lane, that split helped. That split definitely helped with us trying to get this win. But obviously, I still needed to continue to do what I needed to do, and that was strike out. So I'm 1 for 1 in the 10th already, and I go 2 for 2. Very good. Very nice. Still kind of it still kind of looked like it was a bit left of where I wanted it to go, but hey, that clearly, based on how the ball hit the pins and how they all went back, that was clearly the right shot. All right, last shot in the 10th. Can we go 3 for 3? Fell off on it, but I knew it. You could see me right there with my thumbs up, like, I knew it. So I struck out, and I established a lead big enough for their anchor bowler to have to do some work in the 10th. And again, like I said, that they were on, by the time I stepped up, I was already, they were still on their second to last bowler. So they had, see what I mean? Look at that. That is basically how I could sum up this entire night, that right there. Hitting the pocket and still getting unlucky. If it wasn't a 9, it was either a 10 or a 7. But that definitely helped, and that definitely right there confirmed that we got the win for Game 1. And now I finished off with the 181. Okay, so here we go for game number 2. And prior to the start of game 2, I made the decision that, based on what was going on the right lane, I decided I was going to continue with the nuclear cell on the left lane, and I was going to test out the hustle wrap on this right lane. So unfortunately, that one seemed a little bit left of target, and it definitely seemed a little bit slower too. And as a result, I have the 610. And what led to my decision to changing to the hustle wrap on this right lane was that split that you guys saw that I could have made, but again, I overcut it. So that was my reason for it. I thought, you know what, I don't want to move left with this nuclear cell. I should move right, because the hustle wrap is obviously much weaker and lengthier.
Okay.
Chopped on it. Man, that sucks to see. Not a great way to start off this second game. So here we go, testing out the hustle wrap on this right lane. Second frame. The shot was good. I got it to where I needed to, but that was a clear indication that I lined up on the wrong board and that I needed to move more to the left. So for me to be able to stay in this, it's honestly like obviously I want to try to strike as much as I possibly can. But if I don't, pick up whatever it is that I leave and hope to God that splits don't come up, because that's the only thing that's really going to kill my score is the splits. Because I can basically pick up anything I leave except for the splits, of course. So that was really going to be the only thing that would kill me. That's an obvious one. Got it too far to the right. Looked like it lined up to the pocket. Too much time, and as a result, I have a 10 pin to deal with. But the thing that really made me want to bring this nuclear cell was that. You guys saw, I got it to the right and it recovered. I have quite a number of bowling balls in my stash that I use that don't want to recover like that. So this is big. That's what I need. A bowling ball that if I get it too right on my target, it comes back. So yeah, I think the nuclear cell is definitely going to be something that stays in the bag. I'm glad that it's able to defy all these changes that were made to this pattern. And as you can see there, that one I stood up on it immediately. I knew it was a bad shot. It was left of target. And that was one of the few things that were causing me problems on this night, was that I was getting left of target way too many times. I was getting right of target way too many times. I just couldn't get it right. So here's a nice little 3-6-10 for you. No problem at all. And you know what? Picking up the 3-6-10 is definitely going to be a lot harder now, because I noticed that there is oil on the sides now as well. So if I'm not careful, I could like totally miss the 3-pin and just go for the 6-10, if you know what I mean. That was a good one. Very nicely done. Right on target. Exactly what I wanted. Here I go with another test shot on this right lane with this hustle wrap, because obviously I made a bad shot the last time I was here. Did it again. Did it again. Left of target by a lot. That one was even worse than the last one. So I'm pretty certain that the ideal thing for when it comes to this spare, the ideal thing to do is pick up your strike ball and try to get in between the head pin and basically the pocket is right there. I didn't do that because I was worried that I would probably not pick it all up, so I opted for my spare ball on this. And luckily it worked out. Okay, that one right there, from what I saw, I got it to the right a little too early. Everything seemed okay, the speed felt great, everything else, like the delivery, it all felt great, but for me, from where I was standing, it looked like it was to the right a bit too early. See that? That's what I'm talking about. On the old house shot, there was friction on the side, so if I got it too much to the right, I wouldn't have to worry because the ball would come right back. Now, I have to be very careful with how I'm launching that ball out there, because that kind of thing can happen when I'm trying to convert the 3-6-10. Okay, so here we go. I think this is the 8th frame now. So, based off of what I had seen, even though I had made bad shots with the hustle wrap, I noticed that the level of friction was increasing, even though those were bad shots. So what I did was, because I didn't want to take the chances of missing left of my target again with that hustle wrap, I made the decision to just move left with the nuclear cell on this right lane. And that one, I think what I did was I moved to 24, and again, I got it a bit left. So clearly I had to problem with my mental game on this right lane. Wasn't about to chop on that one again. For that one, I felt for that, I felt like I'd gotten into the right a bit too early again. And also, I felt like I threw it kind of slow, and not only that, it felt like the ball slipped off of my hand as well. So many things went wrong on that shot. Okay, so for this split, I actually kind of memorized a little bit what I did on that other split that I almost made where I overcut it. I thought to myself, okay, I know exactly the line that I played, so I'm going to try to get right on top of that on this left lane to see if it'll work. And I did it. And I made it as a result. I guarantee you, if that 4 was there like it was the last time, this time I would have taken it out. Because that was really well placed. Alright, we have made it to the 10th frame of this second game, and things do not look good at all. Too far to the right. Light hit, and you see that? There's that 7 pin. And it's as if things couldn't possibly get any worse. Stuck, and I missed. And with that, I end game 2 with the very, very terrible 155. Okay, guys, here we go. Time for game 3. On the right lane is where we start, and I think I was on 22.5. So let's see how that worked out. It worked, but I noticed how that 10 got out. So I thought to myself, well, I don't know how I feel about that one. Maybe I just need to really, give it some more juice on the release so that doesn't happen again. Yikes. So for that one, I felt like it was probably the first good shot that I made that led to an unlucky result. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, you guys saw that 9 pin luckily got taken out, so it would have been a really ugly split. It would have been the 9 and the 7, but luckily the 7 was the only thing that stood. But, that's the only thing I can conclude. And then I ended up missing it, so another bad start at the beginning of the game. Got lucky there. I got it too far right again for like the millionth time, and luckily it got back, and I got a very light hit, and luckily they all fell over. But yeah, you see what I mean though? That's what I need. I need a ball that recovers if I get it too far to the right, and that nuclear cell does that. Alright, here we go in the left lane on 22.5. Pretty good. Very nicely done. Looked like it entered the pocket with a lot of angle, but I didn't see that 9 pin standing like at the last second, so seems like a good one to me. Too far to the right again. See, there's that light hit again, and there's that 7 pin yet again. That one wasn't unlucky at all. That one was a bad shot on my part and a deserved 7 pin. But I told myself I wasn't about to miss another one of these. Stuck on that one, but luckily I got it. Too far to the right. And I was very lucky that it wasn't a 7-10 again. And I end up leaving that 10 pin, deservedly so. Bad shots deserve to be punished. Left the target, knew it, walked away from it, went Brooklyn, struck. I don't like it, but I gotta take it. What else can I do? Can't undo it. All right, so on this shot right here, I noticed something. Traveled down the lane, right there. The ball curved a little bit more, so that meant that for me was like, okay, I need to move a little bit to the left now because there is a little bit of friction right there. I knew I wasn't going to miss that one because it's not a 7-pin. Form was awful, but that was a pretty good one. Well, actually, no, it wasn't. I remember now. What happened on that shot, the reason I stood up on it was because I got way too much onto the side of it when I released it. So it had a lot of side rotation, and technically that ball should have like overhooked and went through the nose or something. But because I got it too much up the side, it didn't curve as much. Because technically when you let go of the ball and your hand is too much onto the side of the ball, there's a chance that you're going to make it flare over the finger holes, and that will make the ball not curve. So that's why the ball had as much hold as it did, which is quite crazy, but that's what ended up happening. That messed up release that I had where I got my hand too much up the side ended up giving me the right result that I needed. Alright, so here we go into the 10th frame. And I moved to 23 after that high hit from last time. And I thought, I got this. I can strike out. And Lord knows I needed to, because we were met with the same situation where I needed to put up a pretty big lead to make this opposing team have to do something in the 10th frame. And because of that, I no longer had to worry because we won this third game, which meant we took all of the points. So we won all 3 games. So I was feeling two things at this point. I was relieved it was over, and I was glad that we won. But I was actually more relieved that it was over. That one right there looked a little left, but I didn't care. It held, it struck, period. Alright, last shot in the 10th, and this confirms we at least got a 200 game. And there you go, striking out for 216. So even though we got this 216 to close out the night, it did very little to make up for the amount of disappointment I felt within myself. Nothing but bad shots, missing left, missing right. The unlucky breaks, there's nothing you could do about that. I missed 2 7-pins. I chopped on a 610. I messed up the 3-6-10. Just, this 216 did very little to, mask the amount of disappointment I felt. This was terrible, considering how good of a practice I had in, the days earlier in the week. This shows that I need to practice. I guess you could say, I need to practice playing straighter in league more, if you know what I mean. Because clearly I can handle it when it comes to being in practice, but when it comes to being in this competing type of environment in league, clearly I'm not ready to handle it, and I need to do it more to get the hang of it. So that's the only thing I can say that comes from this. The nuclear cell worked out great. I mean, I got a couple of unlucky breaks, like with the 7 pins. And I think I left a 10-pin with the Zen Master in frame 1 when I felt like I got a good hit. Other than that, I made a lot more bad shots than I made good shots, missed spares. But the nuclear cell is definitely looking like it could stay in the bag, considering how if I got it too far to the right, it recovered. If I got it left, well, there's nothing I could do about that. There was some hold there, but only if I messed up my release. I need to play straighter more in league to get the hang of it, so that I can handle it mentally. Because clearly it was up here that I was screwing with myself. So another thing I will say is, I know a lot of you are probably going to dump on me because I didn't bring urethane. But you know what? You win, okay? I will bring urethane next week. I'll bring up the pitch black because. Honestly, even though obviously, if you would go back and look at that urethane practice video that I had, I clearly scored a lot better with the fast pitch. But despite that, I could understand the pitch black a lot better. Like the way it read the lane a little earlier than the fast pitch, it made it easier for me to understand, and I could repeat with that. So I think I'm taking the pitch black next week. And I'm probably going to take the Wolverine because the Wolverine has a pretty great look and I can play straight with that ball. And then I think I'm going to pack the nuclear cell. I don't know yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take the phase 2 to the shop and add some surface to it because I feel like that's what it needs in order for me to be able to use it. So I'm going to do that, experiment with that, and see. If I like what I'm seeing with the phase 2 once I've added the surface change, then I think I might take it to league. But if I don't like it, then I'll probably just pack the nuclear cell again. All right, so let's take a look at this summary for week number 3. So I did a lot worse than last week, that's for sure. And the embarrassing thing is that I was playing the lanes normally compared to last week where I think I was hooking the entire lanes. So yeah, game 1 I got a 181, game 2 I got 155, and game 3 we got a 216. And that makes for a total of 552 for this week compared to last week's series total, which was 571. So massive drop there. The series required to raise my average would have been 577 to at least raise it 1 point. And clearly I am far off from that. So the pin total after week 3 is now 1703 after 9 games played. That makes my average out to 189.22, dropping it a couple points from last week, which was 191.83. And my highest game continues to be 256, and my highest series continues to be 580. So this is quite shocking to me. I mean, the fact that I am now fighting to get back to a 200 average when I told myself that the goal was going to be to try to push for a 220 average. But here I am fighting to try to get back to 600 series and a 200 average. But that shows you that I clearly am in I'm in dire need of some work because the fact that this is a house shot and I clearly am not handling this newer house shot real well, it tells you that I clearly need some work. I need some more practice, and I need to be able to handle being in league. Uh, Mentally, I need to be able to handle this stuff a lot better because clearly on this night it was just a disaster. So anyway, that is all I really have to say for this. But yeah, I'll definitely try urethane next week, but I don't know that I will be picking it up because what I plan on doing is I'm going to take the Wolverine because I did have a very good look with that. And I can play straighter with it for sure because it's very lengthy and a lot weaker when it curves. So I'm definitely going to try that. And then, of course, like I said, I'm going to experiment with the phase 2. If I see something I like, I'll take it. But if I don't, then I'll probably pack the nuclear cell because, like I said, that's my cushion to fall back on. That's my comfort ball. And if I don't like what I'm seeing, like if I'm not getting a good look with the nuke cell or the Wolverine, then I'll pick up the urethane ball. The urethane ball is going to be my last resort in leagues. So that's where I stand on that. That's probably going to be the game plan for week 4. So I'm Frank the Tank. That was week number 3. I will see you guys in week number 4.